I've always been concerned about the role the church plays in preparing young people for marriage. Yeah, like throughout my lifetime, I've always seen churches where, especially, there are a lot of young ladies in the church. They're unmarried, they're getting older, they're looking for husbands, but, you know, their activities are just usually about going to work, going home, going to church, just basic things. And, having been in the church for a while, I've always wondered, you know, why is it that the church doesn't take a more active part in helping to facilitate the process of, marriage among young people and so on and so forth? And so what we find is that a lot of times young women in church become pregnant before getting married. Young men go astray and they indulge in all kind of sexual activities, outside of the context of marriage. And it kind of makes me wonder if the church has failed in its responsibility to, make marriage look appealing to the young. So, you know, having been married and, having gone through a lot of challenges, I've compiled a list of things that I believe that before one walks down the aisle, they should be very much aware of. Yeah? Number one, the church does not change people who do not want to change. Yeah? So, now because it's a church brother or a church sister, it doesn't mean that you will be compatible with them. Not because you get along well in church, it doesn't mean that that's the person that would be right for you within within a context of marriage, right? A good husband or a wife, they're not gonna fall from heaven like manna. So, therefore, you have to work on yourself as a person and pretty much keep a mindset that if you should attract somebody that is like yourself, then you would have attracted somebody that is very good. Do not be unequally yoked, but understand that the choice of a partner is yours. So, if you profess Christianity and you're looking at someone who does not, you're going to have some challenges because you're not on the same page. In some cases, this might carry over in terms of, your compatibility in terms of your education, your background, your social upbringing, and so on and so forth. So you really have to spend time understanding who it is that you're seriously looking at as it relates to getting married. Having children by other people before marriage can be complicated. Yeah? For example, your spouse may not believe it is your place to discipline their child or children. You may see things differently based on your own socialization. Yeah? Dating is about getting to know someone. Ask everything you need to know and not just assume. Now, this is a big one because so many times it is after one fails or finds themselves failing in a marriage situation that they begin to look seriously at their partner and, assuming that they would have known certain things, assuming they wouldn't do certain things, assuming they wouldn't say certain things, only to find out that they end up doing the very things that you thought they wouldn't have done or they wouldn't have thought about. So ask the questions and listen for the answers and take the answers seriously. As Maya Angelou says, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Understand that, sex, money, and gender roles play a part in marriage. And these must be discussed beforehand. So, what you desire in sex, what you will not settle for, what you will not compromise with, what you do not like or what you love, all of these things should be discussed within a proper context, of course. Money is important. You will need money to take care of bills. You will need money to take care of just a lot of things. So, talking about budgeting and planning and savings and investments and understanding what is this person's mindset as it relates to these things. These are key things because they're going to come into play in marriage. Gender roles is also a next one. Yeah, we live in a society today where, for instance, many women do not believe it is their place to cook and to wash and to take care of their husband's clothes or to clean house. They believe that should be more of a shared role. Yeah? And if it works for both parties, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that because everybody knows the housework in a really nice. Yeah? But at the same time, there are some things that, for instance, I as a husband, I expect my wife to take care of my food. I expect her to maintain my clothes or maintain a clean house. Now, are these roles and responsibilities that I also share? Yes, I do. You understand me? Now, for the man, protect and provide. So, it is your primary responsibility to make sure, say, you try to take care of the financial matters within the home. It's your right to protect your wife. It is also your role to love your wife, to guide her, to teach her. You understand me? And just to basically create the culture for the marriage and to create a space in which both of you can function. So these things are very important for you to discuss. You understand? And you have to be the kind of person that is willing to ask tough questions before. You cannot be afraid that somebody may walk away or think that you are too demanding, since you ask questions and you are willing to put on the table what you believe you want and what you will not compromise with. Put it on the table. You understand? I say for women all the time, men respect standards. Yeah? So whether a man must learn to subject himself to his father or to any kind of authority, men must be given standards. And telling a man no because you believe that, you're not ready for certain things, for instance, sex outside of marriage, yeah, especially if it is that you've been keeping yourself, you're not coming in with children and that kind of stuff. Sometimes a man says he wants to test the car before he decides to buy it, and you both have to sit down and decide, because you don't want a man to come make a trial run, and don't use the false equivalency that sleeping with a man could be equal to a test run with a car. It's very, very different. So these are things that must be discussed. So honesty is going to be very, very critical, and with time, you will learn a lot about the person that you're truly looking at. You understand me? The woman must respect the man's authority. She must be cooperative as well. She must be respectful of his authority, and the man must ensure that he appreciates what she brings to the table. It's never a good idea to be too critical of her, or just to expect that you can just disregard how she feels about things, even in times when you do not necessarily agree with her. You understand me? So marriage still has to be approached from the standpoint that the female is the weaker sex, she's the more fragile sex, and that has to be taken into consideration every step of the way. So even when she has a smart mouth, and even when she's stubborn, you understand me, you still have to be the one to take the lead, and to you really put your foot down, and to ensure that things are running smoothly. You know, point number 8 is that marriage is about teamwork. Once you both get married, you're both playing for the same team. You understand me? So you have to seek out and cultivate relationships with people who are in support of your union. Have accountability partners that you can have honest discussions with in matters of challenges and so on. But it doesn't mean that you go ahead and you tell all your business to people. You can read, you can learn, and you have to learn that, learning to step back and to try to understand what the other person is saying. You understand me? It goes a far way. Sometimes people don't want to listen, and sometimes people don't want to express their thoughts and how they feel. But it is important that matters are confronted and they are spoken about honestly, because if you don't deal with them and you sweep them under the rug, they will come back to haunt you in the long run. Yeah. Point number 9, I would say, spend precious time together. Yeah, to build your bond. Do things that just work for both of you. So whether it is watching TV together, sometimes do those little things, working together in the kitchen, working together in the house, just to remove duties. There are things you can do outside of the house as well. Yeah, if it is that you both like certain sports or games, for instance, you like bowling, you like horseback riding, you both like just doing different things. Just find some time to spend together doing just that. The next thing is that you have to also take time out to spend time apart, and these things you have to also discuss. For instance, there are some people that just like to have their own space at times. There are others who do not necessarily believe so. They believe that, both spouses should do everything together at all times. I don't agree with that, because I believe that you clearly, before you got married, you lived as an individual. You had your hobbies, you had everything coming in, right? So when you come into the marriage, you're going to still have some things that you like. You understand me? I believe that both should work together to be supportive of each other's talents and gifts. So, if somebody is into swimming or into singing or anything like that, you support them. You sing karaoke together in the home, or you do whatever, or you support each other. But it is very important that you also get time out to tune into what it is that you like. Somebody might like movies, you might like documentaries, one may like music, the other may like TV. So take time out to replenish. You understand me? Take time out to just build and get time to meditate and to think about it, because sometimes when you are in each other's space too much, it can create a problem. So there has to be a balance between spending time together and spending individual time, so that you can rebuild and replenish, so you can come back together and do it. So you have to find creative ways to make your marriage work. Yeah, and it has to start before you're locked into marriage. So again, be honest, have the discussions up front, you understand me, and look at yourself and the things that you need to change, because pretty much a lot of the challenges or the faults you're going to take into marriage, they're most likely things people would have told you about, people in different contexts, in your family, at work, your friends, and so on. So it wouldn't make no sense that you know that you are a particular way, but you try to deny, or you try to deflect, or you try to circumvent when you're called into accountability for things that you may do that has a negative impact on your relationship. So learn the art of accountability in marriage. Take responsibility for the things that you do, and understand that in marriage it's not a parent-child situation. So if it is that you find that you criticize a lot, you understand me, and you have to fuss about every and any little thing, just know that that is also a recipe for disaster. So if you don't take anything away from this, understand this: in marriage, it's a partnership that you're building. You're building something for the future. You're building a legacy for your future children, and so on and so forth. And you really have just one opportunity to get it right. In other words, one lifetime in which to get it right. If not, you're going to find yourself perhaps in and out of a marriage situation. But the most important thing is keep God first in your marriage also. You understand me? Pray together, worship together, or apart, however you do it. Ensure that you understand that if you don't keep God at the center of your life, and if you're not truly walking in your purpose, and if you're not finding ways to develop, you may be stagnating your self as a person, and you may be helping to stagnate your marriage. So these are just some things I believe people should pay attention to as they contemplate marriage. And I believe the church also should play a role in helping people to cultivate this kind of mindset. So this is the Steady Show. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to leave in the comments your thoughts, so we can find out if there's anything we can learn from you, or if you got anything out of this. Thanks for viewing again. Have a good day.